Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca and it is time to get hopefully a lot done on Kookaburra. So I have worked on it this past week. This has been like a cover paper and a half and 5 across. I think 5 or 6 it worked out as across. And I peeled off a couple of sections the other night and realised that there's a lot of black. And this is what I often do when it comes to the last strip. So I ended up doing all the black going across. Then I did all the 939 and then I did a couple of other symbols filling it in. So I have been working on all of it. So let's plug my light pad in, because while it does have lots of charge, this makes sure that it stays on. So yeah, basically what I'm going to do today is it's a Friday evening. It's been one of those weeks. I'm not quite sure where my week has gone, to be honest. I could not tell you. But yeah, I'm going to pick a colour and I am just going to start diamond painting and start chatting and going through your comments, and we'll see how long this WIP and Waffle ends up being. I would love to say that I could get this finished. However, I know that this will take me a lot longer than I think it's going to take me, because it always does. But yeah, I'm running out of time to make sure that the WIP and Waffle is up on time, because next week I've actually got a video every day. I think I have one day where I actually have 2 videos, because I want to cram everything in before we start the AMC event, which I'm very excited for. It's mainly unboxings. I've had a few Christmassy things arrive, and I've had a Paint Gem mini kit, their latest Paint Gem mini kit, arrive as well. And I feel like I want to get those all unboxed in the correct year. And yeah, who's to say there won't be another one that sneaks in before the year end. So yeah, I've sort of squoze unboxings in around everything else. I need to get rid of that one. I thought I'd only picked up 3, but I've actually picked up 4. Yeah, so I've just decided to do them all. Do them all and just fit all the videos in, show you guys what I've got up to Christmas. I'm still half and half. One of them is also the chart to art. In fact, you'll have seen that yesterday. The chart to art, the Winter Wonderland from Diamond Art Studio UK. And now I have that in my hands and I've opened it up. I don't know whether to do that one or Floral Surprise. I had down, and I still have down, to kit up Floral Surprise on my YouTube schedule, but I might be changing my mind and I might want to kit up the Christmas one. So this will be one that I'll work on throughout December while I'm doing the Advent event with you guys. I'll be working on a chart to art, because I don't do those on camera. So yeah, I'm still debating which one to do. I'll probably be debating up until the point I kit it up. So I thought, let's just do a WIP and Waffle this evening, go as long as I go, as long as I can stand and chat for, and then I will get this finished, because I actually have the dekitting video for this scheduled as well. So I have to get this dekitted by Monday night to be able to, that's even if I film it on Tuesday. So, and I've got a very busy weekend this weekend, so we shall see how it all goes. But I thought, yeah, let's just see how far we can go. I nearly did a couple of evenings throughout this week. I was thinking about doing starting this WIP and Waffle last night, but I got sidetracked messing with charts and trying to get them into compatible PDFs. I was having an absolute whale of a time. I've done it for our Christmas chart onto a blank canvas, and yeah, I've been messing about with some others for somebody else to see if I can get them to work. So I was having an absolute ball, thoroughly enjoying myself and not quite realising where the time was going. So tonight we're whipping and waffling. Anyway, I hope everybody else has had maybe a little bit of a calmer week than I'm having. Mine's just a little bit crazy, but it's all good. It's all good. It's always crazy on the lead up to the Advent event starting. I've got a busy week next week, but hubby is also off work next week. He had holidays to use up before the end of the year. How he manages that, I don't know, because I always used to use all of my holidays up though. I did always throw in holidays, as well as like the family holiday. I always threw in holidays for kids' birthdays and things going on with the kids as well. So, but yeah, he's got holidays left, so he's got a week off. We've got a couple of plans, not too big a plans, but a couple of things that we'd like to do. So I've got to fit everything around that as well. And around, of course, keeping the shop and everything else going. So yeah, madness over here. Madness is what it is. But I actually kind of thrive on madness, so I'm hoping it will all be productive. But I hope everybody's week is maybe a little bit more organised than mine is. Would be good. Mine will calm down soon enough. It always goes through waves. But anyway, comments, etc. So I'm on comments from a couple of weeks ago. We'll see how many we can get caught up on before we hit into the AMZ event time. But Helen, she says, OMG. She says she can't believe that she lived beside and worked in Prestatyn for years and didn't think of Prestatyn as in poke your partner. She says it had her howling. She said, how did she never think of that? I don't even know where it came from with us, probably from hubby. But yeah, Prestatyn has always been poke the person next to you, whoever sees the sign first. It's always a little bit of fun when you are on the way, get anywhere close to Prestatyn. Even if you're not going Prestatyn and you don't think it will turn up. It's one of those, I don't know, is it a town? I think it's a town. But yeah, it's one of those towns that will just appear on road signs with the distance to that town, and then the fun begins. Sometimes we keep it up, sometimes it's just the first person. Just the first person to clock it wins, and then that's it, then the game's over. Helen also says, she is 4'11", and used her service user's top load washing machine. She said she could get everything out of the bottom. She says maybe it was a small one. She says goodness knows how she'll cope when she has kids. She says as her fiance creates enough washing to last a lifetime. Well, Caris and I did a bit of a blitz of the house yesterday. Just a general sort of straighten up. Two of the girls, the oldest and the youngest, have gone to Disney for the weekend. And the eldest, which is Megan, is the one that creates the most mess, I would say. I don't think it's not a matter of all the mess is hers. It's definitely a collective family mess. But I think I can safely say she starts it quite often. So we had a tidy up and a blitz through yesterday so that we could enjoy it for the 4 days they were in Disney. We're like, if we get this tidied up, we can enjoy it for 4 days. And yeah, part of that involved all the washing coming down the stairs. So I've done 4 loads today. Done pretty well. We are at the stage where the heating is on quite often, so I'm actually trying to pick what I wash according to whether it goes on a radiator or a maiden. We did some yesterday. We did a load with all underwear. We just went straight for underwear. Some other stuff besides, but like the main thing was underwear. Just do all the underwear. And we put it all over a maiden, and we're actually able to clear it all off today. It had all dried. So yeah, joys of washing for a family of 6 when I hadn't put the washer on all week. So it's as much my own fault that we're behind. I get distracted with other things. Oh. But yeah, it appears out of nowhere with kids, it really does. Anika, she says, it is lovely as usual. Thank you, Anika. She says, hugs from Sweden. Is it cold in Sweden now? I reckon it must be. We've had snow this week. Well, it's been more hail in Warrington. It takes a lot for us to have snow that sticks. We're in a valley. But we have had hail. I have seen pictures of my nephews all ready to go to school with the paths covered in snow. So I know that my eldest nephew will be happy. That is the one thing he definitely wanted to see while he was here in the UK, and he's got it early because it doesn't normally snow this early. It went from a dreary October, but not dreary with rain, just seemed to be a bit more dark and overcast all the time, but semi-mild, to a very full-on rain and snow November. So they're getting all the weather, getting the full UK experience, as they say. Stephanie, she says today is nail and pedicure for her. She says she loves a nail day. She says other than that, she says quiet weekend for me. She says for now. She says as for watching your videos on Sunday or Thursday, she said she watches them all. Oh, thank you. I love doing them all. WIP and waffles are my favourite to do, though they do take the longest, but they're my favourite. But yeah, enjoy your nice weekend. I feel like they don't come round too often at the moment. I was actually talking to hubby because one of the things I've got this weekend is eyebrows and nails. But I think we're going to try and book them in on one of the later nights she works going into next year. Because I feel like it takes like the whole day of my weekend, even though it's because I tend to fit in other stuff around it. So like when we go in tomorrow, it's like while we're out, okay, we'll get this sorted and this sorted and this sorted, which is good. But I still feel like the main part of the day has been going to get nails done. Whereas fitting it in an evening will then leave the weekend free for us to purely pick what we want to do rather than picking stuff according to where I am for nails. So yeah, hopefully we can make that work for next year, because I think that will make me feel as though I have my weekends back a little bit, instead of constantly doing something. Like, I love it when I get a weekend where there is nothing planned whatsoever. It's just been a while. Okay. This sticky stuff that they use on the back of here is different. I think they call it like mounting adhesive or something. It's different to your normal poured glue or your normal double-sided tape. But oh my goodness me, it does not let you shuffle your diamonds about. And I think that's why I keep experiencing the odd diamond that's popping, because there's just no forgiveness on this. Like, you can't just scoot it over a little bit just to make it fit. And sometimes it drives me up the wall. But anyway, we're getting there. Denise, she says she was born in August in Dunedin in New Zealand. She said it was snowing, she says, and her parents had to negotiate driving up quite a steep hill to get to the hospital and nearly didn't make it. She says she likes winter and rugging up in winter woolies. She says, but having gone through the menopause, she doesn't seem to feel the cold anymore. She says, so her winter clothes are nowhere near as bulky as they used to be. She says her clothes are more of a trans-seasonal weight now. She says nothing too bulky as she gets too hot. I know that feeling. I tend to go for layers more than bulk, because I don't like being too hot at all. And I too can often feel too hot. Though I'm not through the menopause yet, I've just always been quite warm-blooded, I think. I think I get that from my dad. Because he never used to really own a coat, or if he did, it was a very, very lightweight coat. And that's more me. I have a gilet, and that tends to work for me. Carrie, she says she loves seeing me getting my Heaven and Earth design started. I thought I'd drop one. There it is. She says this year has not been a great year for them. She says it has been a matter of one thing after another. She says she's ready for next year. Sometimes that's what the new year can bring you, can't it? Just that mental cleaner slate, where you can feel that everything is going to get better. Going to be different. And yeah, sometimes you just need that sort of mental break, especially if you've had a bad year. She says on top of the house stuff, she says they've just done that cost them $3,000. She says now the boiler just went out. And they had to have that fixed. She says waiting on the bill for that, but the parts were $250 minimum. She says luckily the nice man who came to fix it worked fast, she says, because they charge by the half hour. She says she's finished her current WIP. She's now, her focus is non-diamond painting Christmas presents, while she waits for a couple of diamond paintings that were also for Christmas presents to arrive so that she can work on them. She says, have a good weekend, everyone. Well, after the year you've had, I hope you have an absolutely amazing weekend this weekend, and start seeing what the new year can bring you, and things being just a lot better than what they have been, because I think quite often we all deserve a break. I mean, we don't know, you know, what we're missing with the good times if we don't have the bad times, but that doesn't mean we need too many of the bad times. We don't need that lesson that often, is what I'm saying. A little reminder is one thing, a constant reminder is another. It's like nagging, it just doesn't go away. I try to do all the multi-placing that I can see before I go round again single placing. I also try and mix up what I'm doing. So I'm doing a few bits now that are sort of like 2 diamonds that are getting placed in a few places before I go to this full section down here. I will admit I also have found 1 letter H in my mass of spaces that I'm doing, and I did cover it with the letter M. I think I am so close to finishing this one that I just want it done. It's not been a horrid diamond painting, but I can't say it's been a hugely enjoyable one either. I say the diamonds aren't horrid, apart from one of them that does have loads and loads of holes in. But apart from that Q symbol, they've not been horrible diamonds. But for some reason, it is just in no way as enjoyable as some of my others. So I am kind of excited to have this one finished. And I just don't want anything slowing me down on getting this done. Just want it finished. Stephanie, she said she was just asking what an MOT was. She says, but you have answered my question. She says in the US, she says you need to have your car inspected. She says if your car doesn't pass inspection, you get a sticker on the windshield. Sorry, just trying to find one that needed a 4. She says she calls that the walk of shame. Love it. Walk of shame for a car. No, ours basically you can't do anything until you've got it passing its MOT. But yeah, it's one of those. It makes, you know, pretty much all cars on the road a lot safer. So there's definitely a reason behind it, but it doesn't mean we have to like it. It's like going food shopping. It's like it's a necessity more than anything. Who wants to spend that amount of money on food all at once? Not me. But it's kind of got to be done, you know. I can think of much better things to spend my money on, like diamond paintings and fabric. So I definitely don't want to be spending it on food that then just, you know, goes down the waste pipe. But you've got to do these things, have you not? Aaliyah, she says, you have read my comment out on this video. She says, but she was talking about medication boxes. She says 1 week is 1 box. She says, so 3 boxes is 3 weeks of medication done and ready for the week. She says, yes, she got her items yesterday, woohoo. She says the last couple of weeks, she said things with mental health have not been good. She says she's barely been able to sleep too. Not being able to sleep is the hardest thing. It really is. I think both me and hubby were still up at 2 o'clock this morning, or 1:30. We were both still awake. We'd gone to bed at 11, if not before. Possibly before 11, but at least 11. And still being up at 2:30 was like, you're having a laugh, Right, I keep losing diamonds off here. And that one moved because it didn't actually stick. So I know I said before they don't move very well, and they don't if they happen to have stuck flat. That one wasn't fully stuck. So it moved, which is what I want them all to do. But they don't. Okay, I think that's the last multi-placing for that one. So I'm going to scoot back over to this side and then go single placing. I just prefer working from right to left, and if that means, you know, doing sort of one batch and then scooting back over, then that's what it will be. I have just spotted another H that I've missed. But there's also one over here as well, so I am going to dip into the pot for those two. When I just put an M in its place before, it was because I thought it was the only one. Not that I reckon it's going to make a huge difference when it comes to this one being finished. Sorry, I just noticed the battery light, so I thought let's get that done before it interrupts me mid-flow. Oh, joys. Right, what am I saying? What am I doing? Carrie, she says, thank you for another wonderful WIP and Waffle. She said they just had to have their boiler worked on Friday. She says, just another expense to add to everything else going on. She says, but what can you do? Not a lot, to be honest. Boiler is very handy, especially in winter. She says next weekend they are going out of town to visit their in-laws and celebrate an early Thanksgiving. She says they haven't been since before her surgery in July, so she's looking forward to seeing them so much. She says she watches both Thursday and Sundays, so she listens to both. Lots of comments. She says she has her appointment with her surgeon for her foot on Thursday. She says the pain has gotten better, but it's still pretty intense. She says, but she's grateful for some relief. Well, hopefully, say you're going for a good 2025, so we should start seeing things on the up ever so soon, so they can start going that way for you to have a wonderful 2025. Somebody else's turn. Not another Zesty's turn, just to clarify, but it's somebody else's turn. Darcy, she says she wishes she had a dishwasher. She says that would be me. She says since she has difficulty with her hips, she says most of her housework waits for her daughter to come and take over, or she takes a week to just clean one room at a time. She says too much pain to do much of anything. She says her housework has become a nightmare. She says dishes and laundry, she says, has been so much harder and more difficult to do. Yeah, sounds like you need to see if you can fit in a dishwasher. I mean, we haven't had one for years. We've never had one until we did our kitchen remodel a couple of years ago, and we managed to find a way to get a dishwasher in, because it's so well used. Bless his little cotton socks. Might not be emptied for today, but hey, I've done 4 loads of washing, so I'm taking that as a win. Dishwasher might not be emptied yet, but it will be at some point. Somebody will do it this evening. If not me, when I do a quick tidy up before bed, hubby or Caris will end up doing it at some point. It does tend to get done by different people each time. But yeah, it's a dream. It is an absolute dream. And even many houses that you don't necessarily think you can fit one in, you sometimes can. Or if you do have a problem with your hips, maybe have a look at, you can get tabletop ones. So you can get ones, I think, that are like the size of a microwave. So depending on how many people are in your house, of course, will depend on if that works for you. But if it is just you or you and your daughter, then one that can fit on your kitchen side might be better in the fact that you don't have to bend down. They are a lot smaller, but of course that's fine when there's only one of you, because you can just run it with a one person's day worth of dishes rather than 6. And if that can take one thing off your to-do, or at least hard to do, and make it reasonable to do, might help things move along for you. Trudy, she says when her 4 kids were younger, she says to keep up with the washing, she said they all had a laundry basket each. She said they all had a day assigned for that person's washing for the week. She says so her daughter Kirsty was on a Monday. Hers was all washed, dried and ironed. She says next day was her son Daniel, and so on. She says she did get a day off. Sounds like you flipping need one after that. It's the drying in our house more than anything. We do have a combi washer dryer. However, so many clothes can't be tumble dried. By the time you've sorted out what can and what can't, and then because it is a combi washer dryer rather than just a dryer and a washer separate, the combi ones actually take longer to dry anything. So I just feel like it just churns through electric. What I used to do when we first had it is I used to, if I got behind on the washing, I would put the likes of the underwear through it, and like work uniforms or school uniforms, and put that through the dryer, and it would take quite a while, but at least it would get on top of that. Whereas, to be honest, one day with all the underwear across a couple of maidens and they're done. It's done, it's dry, it's away, and I didn't have to run the dryer for 4 hours for them to get to that point. So I'm just stuck with, when it gets behind, it's my own fault, and I just need to keep on top of it and make use of, you know, radiators and maidens, say, because the oldest and the youngest are in Disney at the moment. The youngest bedroom has 2 maidens in there with a sheet draped over one, because that'll be dry by tomorrow, and then bulky sweatshirts on another, spread out so that they can get the airflow and that they can get dry, and they'll take 2 days instead of taking longer and then smelling. It's just, yeah, when I'm on top of it, I can get through it. I just have to keep on the ball with it, and switch stuff around on radiators and things as and when, and put stuff that's nearly dry onto radiators to finish it off, and then I can get more washing on. So I know I'll get through it, provided I don't ignore it again for a few days. Liv, she says hi. She says she hopes, hi folks, she says hope you are well. She says she has started back dotting in her den, as her mood has improved quite a lot. She says it's not roller coastering. Woohoo! She says it's levelling out. She says so she can concentrate more. She says she's put some updates on the Facebook group. So glad that you're feeling better. You can get a hold of things, get a grip of things, and being able to switch off and diamond paint can hopefully help with that. She also says, she hates fireworks. She says her house sounds like bombs were going off, she says, on one of the weekends. She says they make her jump so much. She says when she was little, she said she had to hide in a house or under her mum's coat. She said she hated them. Oh, so you've hated them since you were tiny. That is one thing we are blessed with Luna. She may go ballistic when the door goes, like you may have heard in the background, because the doorbell went. However, fireworks do not bother her at all. Not in the slightest. A bus going past, considering we have a bus stop right outside our front gate, or a cat, that's a different matter. But fireworks, they're nothing to that dog. Nothing at all. But she had a good fun barking at passengers on a bus today out of our front window. Debbie, she says today, she says she couldn't keep a thought in her head. Oh, I think we all know that feeling. I don't think I've ever said that phrase, but I think I know the type of day that you've been having. She says she couldn't diamond paint, knit or crochet. She said her mind was consumed with thoughts of her 10-year-old grandson. She said today was the day he went for his black belt in karate. 5 hours assessment, including fighting 4 people at once, she says, but he did it. She said 6 years ago he'd done his first grading, a yellow belt, and now he's officially a black belt. She says she's so proud of him. Oh, that is amazing. So glad there's a reason behind it as well. Kind of glad that there's a reason behind you not being able to think straight, because at least you know when it will be over. When that part of your day will be gone. There's a couple of yellow ones floating about in my pink, so if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm pulling those out. There's still one more, but I'll get it when it straightens up. Pulling those out and putting them on the Zs. While I go into a load more multi-placing as I move on to the next colour. I think this is the colour that only likes me to pick up 4. Doesn't play nice when I try and do 5. Oh, it's not playing nice with that one. Get stuck down. Stop giving me grief, because I want to get through this diamond painting. I want to get this diamond painting finished. So it'll be a nice one to not take into the new year. Plus, I'm excited to do a chart to art and to work on that one. For some reason, I don't tend to work on that one in my craft room. I tend to work on that one on my dining room table. I don't know why, but that just tends to be the way I go with it. So, yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe I'm enjoying diamond painting out there. Who knows? Who knows? Poppy, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says she's hoped that we're both doing well, she says, and that your decluttering went smoothly. She said she loves the diamond paintings so far. She says the colours are amazing. She said she has a quick question. She says, what is best to use, wax, glue dots or putty for placing A-B drills? A-B drills, I wouldn't say glue dots unless it's a very, very well used glue dot. If you've had one that's been going for quite a while and is starting to lose its stickiness, then that one might be good for ABs. I personally, out of the three of those, prefer wax for AB diamonds. It can depend on the diamonds itself. So if you do have AB diamonds that tend to have quite a thick coating, they can often leave more residue than some of the cheaper ones without as much of a coating. But personally, I use a pick-up pen for ABs, which is just a different type of wax on the end of a pen. That is my go-to for AB diamonds. You can also get away with a glue dot, depending on how many you've got to place, can also make a difference. If you use a glue dot all the time, like I do for single placing, and then you come up to a section that's only got, say, 1 or 2 AB diamonds, if you wet the end of your pen, so wet your glue dot, then it can pick up ABs quite nicely. So I do sometimes do that if I'm working on a diamond painting that maybe doesn't have, concentrated ABs and they're more scattered ABs. So hopefully that will help. Debbie, she says, another great WIP and Waffle. She says, have a great week. Thank you. My weeks are going well. Busy, but well. Kim, she says, hubby, oh, hang on, I'm unstraight. She says, hubby has a week off, or a couple of days off this week. She says, it's great, she says, but he likes to get projects done on his days off. She said he keeps us so busy. She says that it's a relief for him to go back to work. Get him out from underfoot. She says, so life can return to regularly scheduled programming. Yes, I love how sometimes as well when they're off, they're like, oh, we can do this and this and this. And it's like, okay, what about my normal week? What do I do with that? Just toss it by the wayside? She says now she can get back to diamond painting. Yes, there'll probably be bits of that next week when it'll be like, hang on, I have stuff to do, thank you. Let me go and do that. Janita, she says she needs to have a thorough clean and tidy up. I think it's a regular occurrence in our house for a thorough clean and tidy up. Well, apart from today, because we did have one yesterday. Got as much as we could sort of straightened up and a plan for the washing. So it's feeling pretty good right now. As soon as the girls come back from Disney, that will be a completely different ball game. And my washing level will go up because they will be bringing washing home. Whereas at the moment I can ignore the fact that they're wearing clothes. But yeah, I'll enjoy it while I can. Enjoy the weekend while I have it. 2 children less. Christine, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says she watches all the videos that I have available. Oh, thank you. We'll free up your time next week. I feel like there's a lot coming next week. Well, there's a lot scheduled next week. I haven't filmed them all yet. I'm hoping to cram them in on evenings this weekend because it's been one of those kind of weeks. So we'll see how we go. There's no scooting a video from a Monday to a Tuesday or something this next week because all days are taken up. So we'll see how it goes. She says CT and bone scans done today. She says their son also had or has had a hospital appointment. She said he broke his collarbone a few weeks ago. She says, and the good news is he doesn't need surgery. Woohoo! Take those wins, run with them. She says the timing was perfect today. She says, but now she feels so tired. She says that painting will have to wait until tomorrow. Yes, rest up. See, I end up with all these plans and I'm like, oh, I'll film on the evenings. That's my plan for this weekend. I can see that going out of the window, depending on how busy a day I have. Hang on, I'm just losing my pen tip. Get that bad boy back in there. Glue dot got itself super sticky on that one. Inga, she says, hey Rebecca. She says, thank you for the advice, she says, about disposable mops and a steam cleaner. She said she had one request for hubby when buying flooring for the kitchen. Please don't buy light colour linoleum, is what she asked. It'll be a nightmare to keep up with. She said, guess what colour he got? He got a cream/light brown. Ah, the men in our lives. She says, but it's not white exactly, she says, as you asked, he said. So he listened to the first part of what you said then, not the complete sentence. That also makes sense. She says she will try those disposable mops in her kitchen. She says as the floors are very light, you can see every crummy down there, she says, and see how that works for her. Well, hopefully it does work out for you. I mean, we have dark tiles in our kitchen because I got to pick, and they are so forgiving in relation to mopping. It's probably the only reason my house can look half decent as much as it does, because I can just hoover them up and it looks so much better, even without mopping. But yeah, the disposable mop for my bathroom I absolutely love. They say they don't do big surface areas very well. I don't think anyway. I don't feel like it can do my kitchen floor. I feel like my kitchen is too big, or at least the floor space is big. It's quite long, my kitchen. So yeah, I don't feel like it could do my kitchen floor well. It could do if I used two. But if it was a regular thing, like if I mop my kitchen floor every night, for example, then they probably would work. You know, I would just start at a different end of each of the kitchen. I'd alternate what end of the kitchen I started with, you know, so one I'd get the wetter mop than the other end. And I'd sort of do it that way. But I don't mop my kitchen that regularly. But then again, I also don't serve my guests food on the floor. So I figure it all works out. Dimitri, she says, hey, Rebecca and Zesties. Thank you so much for the beautiful video. They love it so much. They said it was a busy weekend. Friday, they looked for an apartment. And Thursday they shall know more. They're busy with 3 paintings, a tiger, a butterfly and a kitten. Thank you so much and shalom. You are a very busy bee. I love having multiple paintings on the go. I will say I do love having multiple paintings on the go for about 2 weeks. Then I get to feel a bit too overwhelmed, a bit like I've taken on too much. I'm happy when they're different types of projects. So in effect, I do have 3 on the go at the moment. But I have a Heaven and Earth design, which I class as my Thursday project. And I do it religiously on a Thursday with you guys. Any extra is a bonus. And then I have, of course, my current WIP and my paint gem. Sometimes I do feel as though I'm neglecting my paint gem a bit. Other times I'm perfectly fine with it. That one goes a bit up and down. But I think I definitely want to make sure that this is finished and dekitted before I kit up one of my chart to art. Because if this one isn't finished, then I will end up feeling too overwhelmed, because I'll feel like I want to do the other one, and then I'll feel like this one's hanging about for far too long. So yeah, but I don't think I'm going to do the whole kitting up multiples again and having too many on the go. I think I'm a one at a time for my WIP, or what I call my WIP. Right, sorry, just had a little brew stop. Got to have a brew stop every now and then, especially if I want to do a longer WIP and waffle than normal, because I've got to finish this anyway. So let's say WIP and waffle until I don't want to stand up anymore. That's what I'm going for. Kaz, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she hopes all is well with me. It is crazy busy, but all good all the same. Oh, she says, my apologies, she says, for radio silence. Hang on. She says her mum has been in the hospital for the last 8 weeks. She needed her toe amputating. Is that like a diabetes thing? She says, and now her kidneys are not working properly. She says she's hoping that she makes a speedy recovery. Definitely hoping that over here too. It can be very hard and challenging when there's a loved one in the hospital. Visiting hours, even just trying to park in a hospital car park can be enough to set you over the edge some days. So all the best to you and to your mum. I hope she is feeling loads better soon, and you can get back to a relative normal, whatever normal may begin to look like. Mops the tops. Trying to make sure that I sort of keep you guys close enough, but also get everything in shot. Mops the top. She says she feels for me. She says with the washing machine problem. She says, ask Will to work overtime to buy you a better model. That spins perfectly. She says, including a screaming sound when completed. A screaming sound when completed would be rather good. We do have shared finances, to be fair, so it's not like I couldn't get one. I just don't tend to buy a new washing machine until the old one breaks. But hey, I'll take the quick wash. That's what I want. I want the quick wash. The quick wash, but with the high spin, would be good. But finding stuff out like that before you buy a washing machine can be so hard. I just know I've gone for a bigger one each and every time we've got one. A bigger drum capacity each and every time. Fit more in one load. That's what I always want to do. Mysterious Days, she says she thinks this is the first time that she's ever managed to get the first comment on a video. You got to be quick, you know. People there, fingers are ready to chat. Hang on, let me get that one. See, it's just ended up coming off and getting too stuck to my glue dot because I tried to move it. She says, this feels like an odd yet satisfying accomplishment. She says, one very loyal zesty. Absolutely love it. She says, anyway, she says she has decided to keep up with the new videos so she doesn't fall behind again. She says, and then once she is all caught up with those, she's going to watch the older videos that she's missed over the last 2 to 3 months. She says, and then watch ones from years ago. She says, because she loves these videos as background noise. Bless you. You'll be sick of me voice by the time you've watched all of those. She says also, she finally updated her diamond painting logbook. She says, and realised that she has 5 whole kits kitted down temporarily to finish later. She says that's insane. She says she has made her diamond painting goal of 2025 is to work on finishing those up, which may last a while. She says as they are all medium to large kits. She has cosmic trip, a day fishing at the mill, pumpkin, which are all by Diamond Art Club. Then the Great Wave of Kanawagha by Diamond Dots. She says which is hard to work on. She says because they're blurry symbols and gappy squares. And lastly, 2 budget 30 by 40s with low quality painting and drills. Well, it sounds like you need to mix in those low ones, the ones that you're not keen on, with the ones that you enjoy. Mix it up, maybe a section of one, then a section of the other. Sometimes that's the way to get through ones like that. I know I have had the odd evening where I've done a couple of paint gem rather than doing this one, because as I say, it's not awful, but it's not wow. She says that's not even counting the double-digit count of unopened kits, or the fact that she needs to finish the Diamond Art Studio canvas, so the chart to art from last year. She's about halfway through that one and she hopes to finish that this year. She says, can we tell my ADHD can't stick to a kit half the time? Yes, it's like you want to keep up the hobby because you enjoy it, so you're not necessarily ditching the whole hobby, but you are moving around a lot within elements of said hobby, which I get, because the excitement, it can be very hard for me sometimes. The excitement of kitting up a painting and starting a painting can definitely want to overtake, you know, and getting to do that rather than actually finishing something. And sometimes that is definitely a battle I have. And as much as I'm not necessarily going to do something with this painting when it's finished, I also can't bring myself to just stop doing it before it's finished. Maybe it's the stubbornness in me, who knows. She says today her Diamond Art Club order is coming, and she'll be kitting up Together for Christmas by Donna Gelsinger for her Christmas kit this year. She says she's done about 2/3 of Christmas ornaments by All Claire Studio over the last 2 weeks. She says, but it is only 9 by 9 inches, which is 22.8 centimetres squared for the European folks. European folks, for the rest of the world. There are a lot, pretty much every other country uses metric. Europeans as well, but so do Australians. Pretty sure New Zealand does as well. But yeah, she says, and it's round, she says, so it's going really quick. Oh yes, that one definitely sounds like a really, really quick one. Nice speed through, which is often fun too. Nice quick one. A little bit bigger than our Christmas ones this year. Our Christmas ones are 15 centimetres squared, which is the round ones will definitely go quicker. The chart ones will take a bit longer. Right, let's go up and then work my way down. And then hopefully I'm not looking at as much of the canvas all at once while I do all these bitty bits. Blossom Chops, she says, hi Rebecca. She said she has also found that it's hard, or you can't get the 42 bottle cases anymore. Yeah, they definitely seem to have sort of settled down after bringing out multiple different sizes, and all of a sudden they've gone, okay, these were the most popular, let's not bother with the rest. But I do think the others, while even the 30 bottle though, to be honest, I go for my 60 bottles a whole lot more. But I do think the 42, I think, has more of a place than the 30 bottle one. But maybe that's just me. I do have 2 of them though. I think one of the kids is using one and one of them is using my 30. Which is why I don't have them for my stuff, because the kids take a lot longer to do diamond paintings than I do. So once one of the kids starts using a case, I don't get to see it again for a good long while. There was some though, if somebody is after some of the different size cases, somebody did post a link in the group, I think, to a 15 bottle case that you can get hold of. I'm not sure if it had a 42 there as well, but I'm pretty sure there was a 15 bottle case there. But the 60s seem to be the ones that you can get hold of most, though they are the most used as well. So that kind of makes sense that you can get hold of those fairly easily. Blossom Chops also says, she says she went and checked her MOT too, and found out that although it's in January 25, she hadn't put it in her phone. Well, I'm so glad you've managed to put that in your phone. And remember, it's always tricky when it's these yearly things, that they don't send you a reminder out the same way. Like when you pay for your tax yearly, they tend to send you a reminder to say your tax is due. And then you can go, oh, yeah, and pay that. And of course, insurance renewals, you get a reminder. And you can go, oh, yeah, I need to pay that. But MOT, nah, that's the limbo land item. That's the one you need to actually put some work in to remember, which is not always a good thing. Not always easy to do. D3K 2PO. I'm sure somebody told me what that equaled out in there. Is that Denise? Oh, it is. I must have read it. She says she doesn't know. She doesn't like that her preferred name instead of her username shows up. She says, so for reference, I am Denise. I will try to remember that you are Denise, though I may end up just saying out your username, because my memory is not what it used to be. And sometimes I seem to be able to remember and these things stick in my head, and other times, no matter what I do, it will not stick. So I will try my best to remember, though I did pretty well then, remembering it from reading the comment on email. I was catching odd ones that I've missed, losing my pen tip again. I think I probably need to put a glue dot on the end of this. Make it stick in my pen a bit better. But I think we're done with that colour. At least we've got lots left over of the diamonds. Like, they don't short you on the diamonds for this one, which is good. I need to take it off the easel soon and give it a good roll and a good flatten, because it is definitely a diamond painting that needs that to stop these drills going everywhere. But at the moment, I'm just moving down the colours. I tried to pick up 2 at once then and did it completely haphazard. Oh well, it's worked. Anyway, Denise says, she says what she tends to do when she have paintings with huge swaths of a single colour that won't fit into bottles, she says, is to bag them up separately. She says that way she only has to fight the static one at a time. She says it does take a lot longer, she says, for bigger paintings, but she'd rather just fight it the one time rather than over and over again for the same project. So this is in relation to when I was kitting up my Heaven and Earth design. I still do have potentially a lot of static to deal with in my Ever Moment drills. And to be honest, my gut reaction is the same as you. Deal with it all now, and then I don't have to deal with it later. The only reason I don't do it that way is because I'm filming. Because if I just kit up off camera, then I probably would go, do you know what, I'll keep listening to my audiobook, watching the telly, whatever it is that I'm doing, and I'll just plough through it. I actually quite like having, you know, a sort of project that I just plough through and get it all done. I can find it very hard to leave something like that unless I'm filming. And for some reason, what made me take the decision to leave the bitty drills and deal with them as and when I'm filling them up, which I know will frustrate me when I go to fill up a pot, is the fact of trying to think of something to talk through while dealing with it all. And it's a frustrating task dealing with static drills. So doing that while on camera, while trying to talk about something, not being able to every now and then, you know, curse out loud because one particular bag has been a little bit more awkward than other ones, that's what stopped me from doing it. If maybe one of these days, and because that's sort of the decision I made for the video, which I still believe was the right decision for the video, but because I always have loads of other projects, things that I want to do evenings wise, it's not yet, you know, forefront in my mind, oh, I'll do that this evening instead, and I'll just bag them all up while watching TV or something. Yeah, because there's always something else that needs doing and something else that's more urgent because they're not currently in my hand being dealt with. But what I'll probably find is that one of these days, after one of my videos, I'll decide to fill up my diamonds because they're getting low. So I'll be like, right, I'll fill these up and then they're ready for next week. And I'll then face the static and have the time to go, right, okay, I'm just going to deal with them all. So it quite possibly will be something that I will deal with in bulk. It might take me a few fill-ups of my pot to get there, to get to the point that I have the time to go, I'm just going to deal with this. But yeah, if I didn't kit up on video, then I think I'd have done the same thing. She says the most frequent time she says that this is something she has to deal with, she said, is from Hom Fun and Ever Moment. She says if you don't have the time to sit and do them all at once, she says you can maybe dedicate 5 to 10 minutes after you finish your video. She says we're opening up a few bags of a specific colour and then keep opening more of that colour until you're done. which is also a very good idea, and one I definitely suggest to people for big tasks, is to do a little bit each day, and just sort of chip away at something, and before you know it, it's done. The only thing is, I already have about 3 projects that I'm doing that with. So an extra 5 to 10 minutes on that at the moment isn't my priority. However, there will be a time, more than likely, that I go to fill up some of the bags and go, right, I'm just going to sort this. And I'm going to sort it now, and I'll just do them all. It may not be the ideal time, but it will be a time when I don't have anything else that is top level urgent, and I'll just decide to do it. Or I'll be having like an organisation day and doing things around my craft room, and I'll be like, oh yes, right, let's get these sorted and let's get them neater. And maybe I'll have a second case full of bottles of the diamonds ready to just switch the lids. That's probably going to be the best way for me to do it with the amount of diamonds I've got for this picture. I just need to hit that point at the right time. So it needs to enter my head at the right time that I can just do it, because at the minute it's not important enough to go on my to-do list. Partly because I have a mountain of washing at the moment, and it's nearly the Add More Zest event, and I've got loads of other ideas floating around in my head that I want to implement because they're more exciting than static drills. I'll get there eventually. She also says, she's got her eyes peeled for a static gun. She says when she goes thrifting, she says no luck yet. She says they're about $100 to $120 in the USA. She says, but that is still too rich for her. Yes, if you could find one thrifting, that would be awesome. I know somebody who watches the videos have said they use hubbies, boyfriends, partners. They use theirs that they have for work, and they said it works fantastic. But without knowing how fantastic, it doesn't give me the urge to splurge the same. Or put it on my Christmas list or anything, because while they've told me it's good, I don't know how good it is as to whether I need it on my Christmas list or whether I'm best just sucking it up and dealing with it. Actually tipping the diamonds onto the dryer sheet, the tip that somebody gave me the other week, that I've done, is actually loads better. It's even better than putting a dryer sheet in the bag and shaking it up, which is what I was doing before. It's a lot calmer on the arms. It actually takes a lot less time, and it does make me think I could just crack out my mega tray, open 6 or 7 bags, however many fit into one pot, and tip them into the pot, and then job done, rinse and repeat. So yeah, that will probably be a project I do at some point. It's just how many weeks of topping them up little bit by little bit until I get to that point. To be at the right place at the right time to then just get on and do it. We shall see. I'll try and remember to let you guys know if and when I just decide to sit down and do it. Jess, she says yes. She says that is exactly the method that she uses. She says the dryer sheet becomes your tray / funnel when kitting up or traying up your paintings. She says the reason it works so well, she says, is because every drill makes contact with the sheet on both sides of the drill on its way into the tray or bottle. yes, it's definitely a very, very good way of doing it. And I'm so grateful to all of those that commented, because I think that will make things a whole lot easier for all of us on future kit ups that I do. Because I do get that it can be as frustrating for everybody else as it is for me when kitting up. Because, you know, other people feel the pain, but also if they can tell I'm getting frustrated in my voice, it's always harder when you're watching it on a video or something, because if you're there, you can lend moral support, or you can do some of it for them type thing. And that's the gut instinct that we, you know, that's kicking in, but we can't do anything about it because it's a video. And I know I'd be exactly the same watching it back, which is another reason I didn't keep going with the diamonds on camera, because it would frustrate me. I'd want to be able to dive in there and help the person I was watching to kit up all those static diamonds, you know. Teamwork makes it go easier and all that sort of stuff. And you just can't do it on a video. So, yeah, let's not put us all through that. Debbie, she says, evening, Rebecca. She says she hopes I'm having a great week. Which I am, thank you. I've just had some amazing biscuits with my brew, which always goes down well. Have some nice Fox biscuits with my brew. She says, thank you for your help. She says, ordering my canvas and drills from Evermoment. So glad that I could help you. I've worked with Evermoment before. They are really, really good. One, they understand English so well, especially considering it won't be their first language. Yeah, they understand it so well. They're really good at getting back to you promptly with a confirmation of your list. And yeah, I do enjoy ordering from them. She said it's all ordered and paid for. She is doing a mini Heaven and Earth design called Mini Maui Mermaid. It is 82 centimetres by 65 centimetres. She said she ordered a canvas from Evermoment that was 70 by 80, and they confirmed that they will actually send her one that is 62 by 82. And they are very good at doing that as well. Like, I don't know how they link it up to orders sometimes. You know, that somebody's ordered this, but we're actually sending them this. Because while as a one-off, things like that, you know, are possible, when you have a lot of orders coming in, and there's no note on the actual order, unless they can put notes in the background on the orders, you know, you have to go off memory and making sure that you pull that order out before it gets to X point on the packing line or production line. That, yeah, it always surprises me, you know, how on the ball and stuff with that they are. Though I'm guessing they've got some sort of different infrastructure in the background maybe than little old me with mine. She says she also ordered 570 bags of drills. She says so she ordered a 500, a 50 and a 20. She said she only actually needed 565, but they told her to round it up. She says she absolutely loves doing a diamond painting Heaven and Earth. She says using Pattern Keeper. She says she's currently doing a Heaven and Earth design cross stitch, which is 249 colours. You are so brave. I mean, I did 247 colours. I think it was 247 colours in a diamond painting, but doing it in a cross stitch. I mean, I cross stitch, but even I don't think I'm up for that type of cross stitch challenge. She says she has done 22,000 stitches so far, but there are 282,000, so she's got a long way to go. She said she started it in 2019, and she is about 28% complete. She says she's put it away for now. She says because at the moment she's loving her diamond painting. And sometimes, especially with big projects like that, you need to let them come and go in waves, unless you are doing a steady X amount, you know, per week. Like you have a regular time that you do it, and you set it as, in effect, part of a routine. Otherwise, sometimes you do just need a break from the intensity of it for a bit, to make it a lot more manageable. She says, thank you for your great videos. She says she really looks forward to them every day. Oh, thank you so much, Debbie. I'm so glad that you're enjoying it and that you're taking on a heaven and earth design. I love seeing the projects that people are doing, and the progress they get to make. I do just wish I had more time / more energy at the right times, you know, to be able to put a little bit of time in every day to all the projects I love doing. Would be so nice. Or even to just have different days and have full dedicated days. I just need retirement, don't I? That's what I need. I need to win the lottery, and then I can just do all the pretty things. All the pretty things. Debbie, she says now, she says she's worried about using an Evermoment canvas for heaven and earth. She says, is it that you don't think in your head that you place the drills on the numbers? She says, a bit like a graph. She says she guesses she'll start with a first section before she gets used to it. So this is a comment after me, of course, using the Evermoment canvas in my heaven and earth design project. I think you've got to think a lot of it. There are many people that have had an Evermoment canvas and really enjoy them. So do not just take me getting used to it as, in effect, gospel with it. It is definitely getting easier for me. But the big thing to remember is when I'm doing my heaven and earth design, I'm also filming. So as much as I think if I was doing my heaven and earth design off camera and just doing a section, listening to a book, watching, having something on in the TV in the background, some music on, whatever, I don't think it would trip me up anywhere near as much. And maybe I should try and find some time to do a few sections of it over December, to sort of get my brain in the right space for it. So I've done one already that I was doing over the course of 4 years, so it became ingrained on how I was doing it, and I was doing one without the numbers on the canvas. So I've had 4 years of learning it a different way. You know that phrase, if you can't teach old dogs new tricks type thing? There's a little bit of that in there, but I think a lot of it is because I'm filming. I go into autopilot a lot of the time when I'm filming. So when diamond painting and stuff, I'm not having to concentrate when I'm doing this. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it. I'm concentrating on chatting, reading your guys' comments, thinking about what I'm going to say, rambling on about all sorts of different stuff. And a heaven and earth design takes a little bit more thinking power anyway. But I think I just go into autopilot. I go into autopilot from my big heaven and earth design, and this one's actually different. So I think it's that trips me up more. And I think over the weeks that I continue to do it, it will become less and less of an issue. I think this last week that I filmed, Thursdays that I filmed, this comment's from the week before, but from the Thursdays that I filmed, I don't think I made anywhere near as many. I don't think I made any mistakes with the numbers. So it's sinking in. It just takes a little bit longer because I'm filming at the same time. She says, on the topic of Ever Moment, she says she is so glad that she persisted and ordered the drills from them. She says she has done several Ever Moment paintings, she says, and the drills are great quality, which is true. I've had a lot of diamond paintings from Ever Moment, especially when I first started. I've had quite a few customs from them, custom paintings that came back great, and really enjoyed working on them too. So yeah, you'll be I think you'll be happy with it all anyway, Debbie. I think it is, you won't have to be trying to do something else while working on that. So I think you'll be fine with those extra numbers and getting to grips with those, because you just won't have the rest of the battle surrounding it. Grey Legrand, she says, hey Rebecca, she says she is watching this video 4 days after I posted it. She says, but she does watch all the WIP and Waffles. And yes, everybody's life is different, schedule's different. So I do recognise that not everybody gets to watch all videos when they go up. Some people have to wait until they can get that allotted chill time, and then they can, you know, sit and play a bit of catch up with videos. Right, I think I've got all of that one. Do you know, it's after doing that one, and you know, I've still got quite a chunk to do, but after looking at that one, I really feel like I'm making some progress right now. Apart from the fact that I put far too many drills in this tray and knocked them all down into the spout, filled the spout, and then had them overflowing. But yeah, I really feel like, say, there's still a lot to do. There's still some chunks to do. But I do feel like it's making quite a bit of progress at the moment. Though those pink drills were really nice to place down. So much better than the other ones. Carrie, she says, what a wonderful WIP and Waffle again. I'm currently primarily on Heaven and Earth design videos, I think. I'm hitting the 1 week mark. So videos that were filmed last week. So we are getting a nice bit of catch up going on at the moment, which is good. I say, ready for the Advent event that is coming up very soon. We've still got one more Heaven and Earth design WIP and Chat video, but this is the last Sunday WIP and Chat, because next Sunday is December. I don't think I'm ready for the WIP and Waffles every day. I'm just not ready for December in general. Anyway, Carrie, she said she saw her surgeon about her foot today. Oh, this is nice. We're getting a catch up from an earlier comment because I'm catching up. She says, luckily the pain isn't anything serious. Woohoo! Things are on the way up for you, Carrie, or at least I hope so. I haven't read the rest of the comment, but I'm going on, they're on the way up. She says they did x-rays to make sure that there's nothing serious, and there isn't. She says he thinks that she just irritated it a lot when she stubbed her toes. So she is back in the boot for 2 weeks to hopefully give her foot a break. She says, yay, lol. I'm still taking that as a win, Carrie. That is just an important thing to give your foot a chance to recover. It is not a backpedal in any way, because there's nothing serious going on, and the x-rays are showing that. So I would take that as a plus, even though 2 weeks in the boot is probably not considered a huge plus. But it isn't like, you know, if you sat on the couch, you can't sneak off for a wee without putting the boot on. At least you're at that stage in your journey. I was just checking for any more multi-placing of this W, but we actually don't have any. We do have some over the other side, but they're only small bits. Now I feel like it's definitely making even more progress, because I'm constantly starting from a symbol on this side. We are really, this W now is filling in all this section up to here. We're going leaps and bounds, people. Leaps and bounds on this painting. I will have a finish for my logbook in November. Only one, and far too many to add, but that's not the point. We will have a finish. She says their city came out on Wednesday and replaced their water lines because they were lead lines. She said so in 6 months they will be safe to drink cook with tap water again and have no worry about lead in their water. That's a second whoop whoop, tick in the right direction. Might take a bit for the outcome, but it's a tick in the right direction. She says that'll be nice. She says because they spend so much money on bottled water for both themselves and gallons of water for the dogs. So yes, big win, not having the same money troubles next year. She says they are going out of town to celebrate an early Thanksgiving with their in-laws this weekend. She says so excited. She says because they haven't seen them since before her surgery in July. She says she hopes everyone has a wonderful week. Absolutely amazing news, Carrie. Exactly what we wanted to hear. The end of your 2024 is showing that 2025 is going to be a better year for you, well and truly. Christina, she says she uses the dryer sheet method too. She says it works, and it does. So for anybody that's unsure, if you basically lay a dryer sheet out, I lay it over my mega tray, but tip your static drills into it and then use the fold in the dryer sheet to tip them into your pots. Oh, chef's kiss. It is absolutely fantastic and is going to make static drills a whole lot less daunting every time they appear, because they do behave themselves and the drills do go into the pot. And at the end of the day, that's what I want them to do. Go from packet to pot. And if they have to go via a dryer sheet, then so be it. It's better than popping some into a bag and shaking it to within an inch of its life, to try and get rid of the static that way, which does work, you know, and does give your arm a bit of a workout. But depending on how many colours you've got to do, it can get a bit OTT. Right, I am going to give my putty a little bit of a top up. So what I like to do is use the end of my tweezers, which is probably not what they're made for, just to take the first layer out. Quite often, every now and then, I do remove all the putty out of the metal placer, but I have found I can get away with a few goes of just taking out that top layer, and then pop some more putty in on the top. Hopefully that's enough. And that is a nice fresher piece of putty. And I keep telling myself I should do this more often than what I think, because that is true. I think to myself, oh, I've only done a couple of evenings of diamond painting, and then I forget how many hours of diamond painting I've done it, and how much I've used my multi-placer within those hours of diamond painting. It's like, oh yeah, maybe it was due. It has been a good few hours, and you get so much putty in the packs anyway that it still lasts forever, and it's not a hugely expensive item. So why am I being so frugal with it when I will devour a packet of crisps that cost more probably super quick? Got to think of it like that sometimes. I will devour a Fox's biscuit quicker than I will devour putty that costs the same price as a packet of Fox's biscuits. Ish. Maybe 2 Fox's biscuits, but still, the putty will last me longer than the biscuits, so why am I being stingy with my putty? When it stops playing as nice, just switch it out. I do think I may not have put enough in though. I've got 1 point of my multi-placer, this bottom edge. It's not splurting out the side, so I actually don't think I've put enough in it. So let's pop in just a little bit more, and I just push it down on my piece of putty and then pull it away, and then make sure I tuck in the bits. So let's try that. Takes a little bit just to get it to the sweet spot. I like it not to be splurting out over the sides, but I of course want it to pick up all the diamonds. And that can be sometimes a little bit of a fine balance. It depends. More so when I'm on camera than when I'm off camera. When I'm off camera it tends to work a little bit easier. But that's also the way that life goes. Got lots of 2s on this one. Got a lot of this colour actually. It's like, which way do I follow? This colour's sort of everywhere. Okay, let's go up the top. Let's do top down in sections. So let's get all the 2s in here. Makes it a little bit easier when I come to single place. I don't feel like I'm taking ages on my second way around. And you can tell I've got new putty in because I'm trying to pick up 4 and it keeps picking up 5. But when I need 5, it works very well. Ooh. Another switch of battery. Tell this WIP and Waffle's going on a bit more. First battery I had in, I had done a couple of unboxings on the same battery. But I can always tell when it's a longer WIP and Waffle by how often I change the battery in my camera. Grey Legrand, she says, Hitting Pause, Confessions of a Terrible Housekeeper. She says, as you read my comment, she says she was howling. She says, here she is, again, sitting down. She says, taking apart a Lego set, starting with the last book and working backwards and watching YouTube. She says, but she has done some housekeeping or housework, including moving some furniture and donating some things she no longer uses. Well, that's good movement. She says she didn't take care of the violas yet, She says she just knows that the squirrels are going to dig them up. She says tomorrow is Friday and she doesn't go back to work until Tuesday. She says so it's been a very chill time, which is always good and always needed. She says, and there might be a dish in the sink. It's fine, it's hanging out. It can just stay there, that's for sure. She says, but it's a greasy dish from cooking bacon. She says, American bacon. She says she believes that we all have different terms for that. She says all the things she learns from WIP and Waffles. I think the difference, what you guys call your bacon or American bacon, for us is called streaky bacon. So it has a lot more fat content in it, and it's like thin pieces of bacon with thin pieces of fat. Our most popular bacon for butties, bacon butties, which are amazing. We actually had some yesterday. Is we use what's called back bacon, so you get more meat on it, less fat on it. So yeah, we do have what is the standard American bacon, but we call it streaky bacon because it's streaked with fat. But back bacon is the bacon we tend to use for the likes of butties and our breakfasts, cooked breakfasts and all the rest of it. It's the most popular, but in fact we never buy streaky bacon because I'm not interested in all the fat on it. I'm interested in the meat on it. So yeah, that might be where the different terms come from. Janet, she says she'd rather have a bippity boppity boo for the housework. Yes. Hubby does keep mentioning to me that I should just get a clean, or we should just get a cleaner for the housework. And I'm tempted. It's just finding one. I don't know if I can go through the finding one. And they'd have to be, you know, okay with Luna barking. She gets over herself eventually, you know, once somebody's been round enough times. But like the plumber who will be coming to do our boiler, we have had to put it off. But yeah, the guy who'll be coming to do our boiler, oh, he's amazing. Like every time he comes, he's like, look, she don't bother me. I'm like, she might not bother you, but her barking is bothering me because it's so loud. But yeah, when he comes to do the boiler, I know that he will have zero trouble. Like, he's like, you know what, if she wants to bark, she can bark. Like, let her be her. But yeah, I'd need to find a cleaner who would be more than happy to work with a potential dog shouting at her the whole time. I mean, who likes to work with somebody shouting at you? So yeah, I keep just putting it off and doing it myself because I can do it myself. I just think, one, you know, somebody who cleans for a living, more often than not, and it's not all the time and it's not everybody, but more often than not, they actually kind of enjoy cleaning. And frankly, I don't. I enjoy a clean house. I don't enjoy the process of getting it there. So I think, if I had a cleaner as well, would that, you know, maybe make the kids tidy up more regular? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, that's currently up in the air. I've currently got 3 diamonds. No, I'm just going to put a 4th on. I'm too busy hunting for somewhere that can take 3 diamonds than actually just put the diamonds down on my canvas and use them. And then, of course, I spot a space that 3 can go. Always the way. Always the way. But yeah, a bippity boppity boo would be, you know, just... if you could just wave a magic wand after saying that. It wouldn't even have to be a magic wand. You know, just be happy just saying bippity boppity boo, and all of a sudden it'll all be tidied away. I'm not keen on singing, but I'd be tempted to sing a song like Mary Poppins if it did the same sort of thing. You know, I could put myself through that just to get the house tidy. You never know, I might get better at it as time goes on. Who knows? But yeah, it's one of these things that we can all grumble about because, you know, we all feel it. We all feel it. Kim, she says, she says she could not work with the numbers on the canvas. She says she gets confused every single time I place drills on those edges. She says her brain spins, she says, trying to decipher where the box edge is. It does take a little bit of getting used to. It is getting easier for me though. There is the odd time that they're handy, so I'm kind of hoping that it will be good in the long run. If and when I ever do another chart, and I say if and when because for my Thursday projects I already have a list that will take me through the next few years of projects I want to get done. So let's not add another chart to the mix quite yet. But yeah, if I ever do another one, I will order my drills from Every Moment, but I will probably just order a blank canvas. Because my brain can work perfectly fine with a blank canvas. So I don't need to pay more for that extra little bit of help that actually makes me think just a little bit more. I'm all for thinking less. I think enough as it is. Chloe, she says she's so glad that the Advents will be kitted up this week. So yes, the AMZ Advent event, I have kitted up the paintings. I always like to do it a couple of Saturdays before we start so that people have it there to kit up with me if they want to. But yeah, it's always a fun time to get kitted up and get ready for that, because it also means it's Advent calendar time, which is also absolutely frigging awesome. She says she's so excited for it. She says although she is unable to join in with the canvas, she says she has many Christmas ones in her stash. She says that she will be doing. Me too. I've just unboxed another one today that's actually going up just before the WIP and Waffle, I think. I've just unboxed another Christmassy diamond painting, but it is going to have to go into my stash. I just don't have the time to fit them all in, unfortunately. She says but hopefully she says she will be next year. She says she absolutely can't wait for the December Advent. She says having such an amazing video every day. She says, what was your first Heaven and Earth design? So my first Heaven and Earth design that I did was called Little Dreamer's Tree. I did the max colour version, so it used more colours, because the idea behind it was that if it had more colours, there'd be less diamonds of each colour, which meant I could use my spares. And I did. Primarily, the whole thing was done using spare diamonds. Now, they weren't all mine. There were many, many kind people that sent me diamonds to do it. So it is a combination of a load of zesty diamonds from here, there and everywhere. They were sent from all over the world. Yeah, so it's a combination of all the Zesties diamonds. I do have a playlist on it, so you can see the full 4 years. I think I started doing it on paper, then moved to Pattern Keeper, so you can see the progress of that. And yeah, it is 40 centimetres wide, but it is then 2.5 metres long. And it is now finished. And it looks absolutely Stunning. It is still currently rolled up, but I have been known to get it out every now and then and have a little gander at the work. She says she hopes that I have an amazing week. She says, know that your videos, she says, help so many people, especially when having a bad day. She says you can make an incredible difference. Oh, I'm so glad. If I can help anybody that's having a bad day, I am here for it. And I will be doing these videos as long as I can. Keep going. There's some weeks that it's a bit harder to do. There's some weeks that it's not. But I absolutely love doing them. So I shall continue on. Barbara, she says she also pours her drills onto a dryer sheet. She then massages them with the dryer sheet before she puts them in the container. She said it works great. Drills getting a spa day. Sounds amazing. Yeah, I can imagine if they are really static, that a massage would work wonders. I'm going to keep trying it at the moment when I have static drills, when I'm kitting up. I'm going to try without massaging to start off with. Only because of the extra time it takes. That's the main thing with me, is time. Always is. So I'm going to try it without, but if they need it, at least I know there's sort of that extra little step that I can take if I have some particularly stubborn or flyaway drills that will possibly make things even better. I'm all for that. Nellie, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she is doing an Elvis painting. She says a lady here in her care home, she says, said that she should sell them. She says, but it's so hard for her to put a price on it. She says she does it for pleasure. I think, like with a lot of crafts, like with quilting, like with diamond painting, you are never going to get the true value of your time. It is just not going to happen. Because they take, you know, if you actually add up the time you spend, they take a long time to do. And even if you put it at minimum wage, it is going to be a whole lot more than anybody is going to want to spend. If you even think I've not even finished this strip and how long this WIP and Waffle's been going on for, and I'm not the slowest diamond painter, do you know what I mean? I'm pretty fast at diamond painting, so you are never going to get your time back. I'm actually going to be helping Caris with doing a quilt for her friend's nan. She would love to give a quilt to her nan, but she doesn't quilt. And in with that, it's like, okay, I'm happy to do that because I enjoy the quilting. She will pay for all the fabric, but I could never put a price on the time it would take. Even once you've built up a skill and you've built up a speed, that's like people paying you for your knowledge and your expertise in a matter. That's why quite often the higher up in a job role you get, the less you actually do. That's my view on it anyway. But yeah, I think if you had, somebody that would like a diamond painting doing, and they're happy to pay the price for the diamond painting, if you enjoy doing it, then just do it. I think trying to sell diamond paintings, and especially the high-end kits, and make any sort of money is just not going to happen. I think you're better working along the lines of them covering any costs, so they definitely buy the kit, and then maybe, you know, they treat you to something that you want, whatever that may be. So maybe they buy 2 diamond painting kits, one that you want and one that they want. You do the one for them and you give it them, and then you keep the other one and you get to do that for yourself. I think something like that is the much better way to look at things when it comes to things like that. Unless, of course, you're making it as a gift, and then, you know, your time and the money spent on it is the gift. So yeah, I think that very much would depend on who it is, but I would be tempted to get them to buy the diamond painting and something for you, whether it be another diamond painting or something else, and then you do it because you enjoy it, and give it to them to enjoy, and then you can enjoy the one that they bought for you. Would be the better option. Right, just trying to check that I've not missed any on this sort of side. I've just had a diamond pop out. Try and get that one back in, because of course I've not rolled any of this because it's been propped up on here. And I definitely feel like this is going to get a very... I'm going to do a gym workout rolling on this when I'm finished. Get all the diamonds to make sure they're down. Oh, Lady Dax, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She has an update on the kitchen saga. She said, it's sort of finished. Okay, maybe we don't have the update we would all like to hear, i.e. they fixed everything and it's wonderful, but at least we have an update. She says they have to replace the sink and part of the worktop that the workmen ruined. She says, but they have all of their stuff in the kitchen. Well, that's a good step to be at, she says, and they love it. She says especially their retro 70s cooker. She says, so hopefully the stress and ill health, she says, was worth it all in the end. She says she is now sitting here kitting up her advent paintings. She says, and thank you to all the Zesties that suggested tipping the drills onto a dryer sheet. She says, oh my, it works. So glad there's more than one of us that's excited over this. She says, love and hugs to you all. Oh, well, that's good news. You're getting there with the kitchen. I'm so glad that you do enjoy the kitchen when it's done, though, rather than looking at it and hating it, because that would be the worst. Mimi, Sinso8, says, hi, Rebecca. So she hopes all is good with me and the family. It is, thank you. She says she tries to watch as many of my videos as possible. She says she sees a trend in the subject matter. She says people who have birthdays in winter don't like winter. She says hers is in October and she loves autumn in Ohio. There's definitely a bit of that. See, Caris is a winter baby and she loves winter. So I think that's where I sort of went from. I haven't actually asked hubby what's his favourite season, or my son, though I don't think my son would say summer, and he is the only summer baby. So maybe I need to ask the boys as well, see what they say. Debbie, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she has purchased the Chart to Art Flora, she says, but she can't get the charts to work on Pattern Keeper. She says, is it possible to do it? She says, your chart works perfectly. Okay, so my chart was done differently to the chart to art ones. The chart to art ones are just a JPEG, so a picture of the chart or a picture of the piece of paper that you get. It can be put into Pattern Keeper for you to mark off, but it can't search for the symbols, if that makes sense. So you can pull in the JPEG and make the grid fit over it, and then you can mark off your squares, but you can't search for the symbols the same way you can with ours. However, and this may take a bit, I did mess with it last night, but I have been speaking to Sam, because of course they created, or they got manufactured the paintings for us, and I actually spent quite a bit of time messing about to get ours to the PDF point and not just to the JPEG point, because I could have just provided an image, but it would have done the same thing. I actually did a lot of messing in the software to get it to work on Pattern Keeper, and I have been messing with the floral charts and the Winter Wonderland charts to see if I can do the same. I'm happy to say I can. Some of the symbols are different, the same as they are with ours. A little bit more so with the charts from Diamond Art Studio, just because they have more symbols and not all of the symbols are available in the software that works. But it's going to take me time to get them all done. So if it's something you can hang off on, then maybe wait a bit before you kit that one up. And hopefully between us, if I can find some time, I say I got very excited, I got very in depth with it last night and was messing for quite a while, thoroughly enjoying myself getting them ready, or trying to get them ready. But then of course, even once I've got them to the point that they will go into Pattern Keeper, I then need to sort out documents to explain the symbol changes that I've made, and that may take a little bit of writing up, and of course we need to just do like a PDF front cover that tells you what day it is and things like that. So it's always those bits that then take probably just as much time as me altering the charts. So I am helping Sam with it. She's been extremely busy with pre-orders and all the Christmas chart to art kits and other kits that have come in. So yeah, it's her busy time. It's quieting down a bit for me, of course, until the Admiral's Est event starts, and then I'll get busy again. But I am trying to get them done as soon as possible, because I do get a bit of an eager beaver, and I do get a bit of on a mission to get something done. And I also want them done because I want to use them for doing mine over December. So, you know, there's a few different motives in there. And that's what I was doing last night instead of working on this painting. But tonight I need to work on this painting, and then I've got to create... So I was working on them last night, but then of course tonight I need to get this video ready. I've got videos I need to get ready for next week. I've also got a very busy weekend. I've also, when I had my brew break, I've had a message from my brother as well. So him and his wife and the boys, I think, are nipping round at some point on Sunday Karis also wants to put the tree up on Sunday. So yeah, it's just trying to find the time to help them out with that. And then once things have quietened down on the Diamond Art Studio side of things, I'm going to talk them through the process so that it can potentially be done straight away for future ones. But it's complicated because the software used to make the diamond paintings. So basically, when a diamond painting is designed, either by me or by Diamond Art Studio, when it's designed, we design it in a certain software that you can export to a PDF to work. It's the same software that Heaven and Earth Design use. I think it's very similar, if not the same. And that's what's used to create the artwork file to go to the manufacturer. When it goes to the manufacturer in that format, it's a very weird format, but once it goes to the manufacturer in a non-PDF format from this software, the manufacturer then puts it into, of course, their software that allows them to design the whole canvas. So putting company names on, putting the legend down the side, putting the information at the bottom, like they do all of that in their software, and that can change the symbols to the ones we use day to day. So to get PDFs that will work in Pattern Keeper, we basically have to change the symbols to ones that match what the manufacturer's done. And not all of them are available. So going forward, that is something that at the manufacturing point, we may be able to change it to symbols we can match, or that can be matched by our software. But yeah, basically it's a bit of a process, and there are 25 charts per chart to art that I'm working on at the moment. So everything needs to be done 25 times. So it takes a while. But yes, it can be imported into Pattern Keeper. It's just only for marking off. PDFs are in the pipeline, and between us, we will be able to get something that will work, and we'll just have some tweaks, but hopefully we'll make it a lot better or a lot easier for people to use it in Pattern Keeper. It's just how quick we can get that done. Yeah, it's a bit of a process. It's a thing, is what it is. Oh, I said at the beginning of this, I was like, I plugged my light pad in so it doesn't fade off and all the rest of it, and I forgot to turn the plug on that it was plugged into. I was like, why is it fading? Because it's not switched on is the reason why. And this is what happens when I do a late night WIP and Waffle. It is nearly 9 o'clock at night now. I've had a brew break, but I think I started this 6:30, 7 maybe. I think when I went to get my brew break, I ended up feeding the dog, which meant it was just past 7. So, yeah, I think I've been chatting for a bit too long, but anyway. Debbie also says, she uses Dropbox to transfer her files. Yeah, I just use Google Drive because it's the only email address and thing that's actually connected on my tablet. I don't use my tablet for anything else. I don't have anything else on that tablet apart from logged in with my Gmail account, which is the Gmail I use to put the files on, and I have Pattern Keeper, and that is it? Nancy, she says she loves Ever Moment drills. She says they have the best squares. They do have extremely good squares, I will give you that. Liv, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she hopes I am well. She says her weekend has gone super quick. She managed to get some paperwork sent yesterday to hopefully get an appointment for her autism assessment. She says she then went to get some supplies from Aldi as she was running low, which reminds me I need to fit in at some point tomorrow getting some of the dog's food. Dog actually has 2 different types of food, but one of them is from Aldi. Oh, and getting more coffee pods because I get them from Aldi too. She says she had the car. She said so she could get a little bit more than what she would get if she went on her own. She says the things she has to think about. She says now she has a house to maintain. So true. So very, very true. Right, hang on. I will finish reading the comments, but I just need to put my X's away. Oh, making such good progress. And get out my P's. PPPs. Oh, I do have a few I can multi-place. Not a huge amount, but a few. It's Q that I have all the holes in. So that's the one that I haven't done yet that's probably going to end up being really, really tricky. But I'm actually going to multi-place from this side because there's not too many. But I'm going to multi-place across this away so that I can then single place. And I've actually got one just off camera that I missed. And this is where I can do most of them. Okay, sorry, back to Liv's comment. She says, you will have seen in the Facebook group, she says that she has managed to get some of her WIP sections sorted. She said, except she did something daft. Oh. She says she put the sticky mat over one of the sections, and she says, but when she peeled it off to reposition it, she said some of the drills came off with it. She says she won't be doing that again in a rush. She says she maybe needs to roller the section first. Yeah, sometimes it can vary. It's very rare that I've had a sticky mat pull up drills, but I can see how it could do it depending on the diamond painting and the stickiness, whether the canvas is sticky enough. Because there are some you can get where drills slide about a little bit if it's not cured enough. So maybe that sort of happened. Who knows? She says she started another section today, but she gave up when she messed up with the sticky mat. She just do, nope, I'm noping out of this today before I make any more mistakes. I am out of here. Sometimes that's got to be done. She says she's feeling loads better with her medication. She says that's helping with her roller coaster of mood / washing machine head. Well, things are definitely on the up. And from your earlier comment, it still sounds like things are on the up. You just, you know that when a grip mat decides to pull up your diamonds, that a break is needed that day. Quite frankly, it's time to reassess and try again another day. Pinky, she says hi. She says she hopes you're doing well. She says she has been busy due to Christmas coming up. She says she's excited to get her diamond package through the post. She says her first square diamond painting. She says she is so looking forward to doing it. She says, as she has always done round. It's always exciting when you get that sort of next thing to try. And after diamond painting for so long, sometimes that is something that I forget. It's like you have, you know, different steps and challenges you can make with diamond painting, if you want to. You know, all of these are if you want to. If you're happy, you know, with doing round, small paintings, and that's what ticks all the boxes for you, then by all means keep doing it. But if you ever find that you want that little bit of an extra challenge, it can be anything from, you know, moving on or doing some square diamonds that maybe you're not used to doing squares, or it could be moving to do a heaven and earth design chart. It could be doing a mystery chart. It could be doing a big painting instead of a small one. There are loads and loads of sort of little challenges that you can set yourself if you want to, depending on where you are in your sort of diamond painting journey. And it's so fun. Debbie, she says, another great video. So this is on last Sunday's WIP and Waffle. We're getting there. She says, so to answer your question, she said she is an Apple person. She has always had iPhones and iPads as long as she can remember. She said, so markup was the obvious choice for her to use. She said, in fact, she hadn't even heard of the app Pattern Keeper. We've got ourselves a first-time user, somebody who's used markup first. If you've watched the Thursday WIP and Waffle and last Sunday's, this was actually something that was sort of questioned of how much I'm against markup because I've used Pattern Keeper or because Pattern Keeper is better. So hopefully Debbie will answer that question now. But she said, and to be honest, she says, after working from a paper chart, she says, markup was a dream. She says, however, about 5 years ago, she heard via Facebook about the Heaven and Earth designs and that people were using an app called Pattern Keeper. So she borrowed her granddaughter's tablet to download it. She transferred over a sample chart just to see what all the hype was about, which is a good way to do it, especially if you've got one that works for you. If you can borrow somebody's tablet and give it a go, because you do get a trial with Pattern Keeper as well. So it's not like you have to spend money on somebody else's tablet to give it a good go. She says she liked what she saw. She says, so then she went out and bought the Samsung A tab. She said, so yes, she used markup for quite a while, a number of years. She says it does have more features than Pattern Keeper. She says, but to be honest, you don't need them all. She said she would never go back to markup now. She says, and seeing me struggle, I did struggle. She says, seeing you struggle the other week has reinforced that decision. She says, however, she says that is just her. She says some people may love it, but not herself. So there we go. Somebody who used markup first and has since moved to Pattern Keeper. So, I mean, I'm guessing it could also depend on what you're using it for, you know, and how much you use it, maybe how big your designs are, how often you use it is a big thing. Because I know Debbie's doing a Heaven and Earth design cross stitch as well that's been on the go for quite a while. So it's something that she may use more often than, say, somebody who's just doing our small 15 by 15 Christmas painting and then not planning on doing any more. And in that case, you know, you're probably best just downloading whichever one you can put on your tablet, and doing that painting in the 6 sections within 6 days or within 12 days before your trial runs out, and then you won't have had to spend any money at all, which is even better. But if you're somebody who's doing it regularly, and can potentially afford an Android tablet, then maybe it is something that would work best for you. Julia, she says she's thinking about doing a heaven and earth design. She says, how does she figure out how many drills she would need? So the heaven and earth design charts do come with a list of the amount of stitches that are in it, because it is primarily a cross stitch pattern. They do come with a list of how many stitches, and that is how many drills. 1 stitch is 1 drill. To then work out how many you would need to, how many packets you would need to buy, for that you may need to do a little bit of math, depending on what seller you buy from. So some of them are between 160 and 200 drills per packet. I think they normally give you a span. So some of them will say between 160 and 180. Some will say between 180 and 200. Whichever span they give you, either choose the one in the middle if you're happy that if for any reason you got the lower end in every single packet, you could take some from your spares, or alternatively take the lowest number, and just take the amount of drills you need and divide it by that lowest number, and that'll tell you how many packets. So yeah, a little bit of math, but fairly easy. Kim, she says there is a damn good reason, she says, why we normally have children when we are younger. She says just watching kiddos playing, talking, or just existing, she says, at my age tires me out. Yes, that's what I'm feeling. I definitely feel that. Though even sometimes just watching everybody in our house going about their daily business at once can be flipping tiring, that's for sure. Right, I am going to plough on. I have 2 colours left to do. One of them is this awful colour, so we'll see how far we can get with these. This is the one that has loads and loads, I'm not sure if it's going to focus, loads and loads of them with little holes in. It's also got a load of stowaways, and I'm not sure why, but I am just going to see how many I can get multi-placed where I can find a nice run of them. And then I've only got 1 more to do after that. So I think, yeah, I'm just gonna get these done and then call it done on the WIP and Waffle. And I might get through all the comments as well, we'll see. Which means I'll be answering some of Thursday's, but most of Sunday's comments on Thursday. But that's all good too. You'll get us nice and caught up before we start the December Advent event. Marsha, she says, after 4 years of waiting for various construction stages, she says she has finally been able to move her diamond paintings into her craft shed. Woohoo! That is so patient. 4 years. 4 years. Goodness me. I don't know whether the excitement would have disappeared after 4 years. Feels like an eternity. You've been so patient waiting so long. She says there is still a bit of trim, she says, for hubby to finish. But she wasn't patient enough to wait any longer. I am not surprised at all. That is a ridiculous amount of time to have to wait. Sorry, I'm fighting for what drills I can actually potentially place down in here. I think I may have to just go to single placing. I think it's just going to be quicker if I can just pick the drills that I like and ignore the next ones, and just get these placed down. She says it's so nice, she says, not having to sit on her bed and use a tray to diamond paint on. Oh, sounds like a flipping, like, you know, we do what we need to do when we want to do our crafts. I get all that. But by goodness me, that sounds like hard work, frankly. Hard work. She says, and have the hassle to pack up and unpack every single time she wanted to diamond paint. Yeah, I feel your pain. No wonder you got moved in there as soon as you could. She says, what a blessing, she says, to be out here. She says, working away, listening to my discussion about pattern keeper and markup. Well, it's a bit of a different discussion. There's always some weird ones thrown in there, is there not? She says she has an iPad. She says, so she's guessing she'll go with Pattern Keeper someday. She says, although pattern charts don't cause her any hassle. And to be honest, they don't cause me, excuse me, a lot of hassle, paper charts. I think after using Pattern Keeper, I think I just realised how much time it saves looking for symbols. That is always the worst part for me. Sorry, just had a little bit of a coughing fit. So my diamonds have gone everywhere. It's getting later, but one of my lovely children, one of the two that have gone to Disney actually, have had a cold this past week and they passed it on to me. And I'm not entirely sure which one of them it is. And I blame a different one of them each day depending on my mood. But yeah, every now and then it's either my nose running or I need to cough a lot, or yeah. Kids, hey. Anyway, she says she is just such a happy camper right now. I'm so not surprised. She says now if hubby would only finish assembling her office chair, she says she'd not have to say a word about having to step over his tools and construction material. She says out here. She says one of these days. There's always something, isn't there? But no, I'm so glad you have got your space. You have been incredibly patient waiting for it, probably so much more patient than I would have been, that's for sure. Would have driven me absolutely batty, and they're having to unpack it and repack it and all that sort of stuff just makes it, yeah, just makes it a headache. Oh, that's concaved, that's why that one's not working. It actually didn't have any holes in it, it just didn't have any back either. Or maybe it just had a big hole in the back of it. Ooh. Get these couple down here. And then I can scoot over. We've literally got these bits here now. Yeah, she says one of these days. One of these days you will get your dream entirely. Maybe, hopefully, one of these sooner days you will get a chair. It's a simple, just start building it yourself. Maybe that'll make hubby want to take over. Sometimes that works. Kim, She says, don't do it. She says she used markup for the Diamond Art Studio Advent painting. She says, and it worked okay. She says, just okay. She says, Pattern Keeper is much more user-friendly. She said, so just don't torture yourself. I don't need any more torture. I've got enough going on around here. She says you gave it a good try. She says, so just enjoy working on your Heaven and Earth design project with what you know works. Thank you, Kim. It is so true, though. I always want to, you know, not be giving a bad opinion if it's not valid. But at the same point, it is an opinion, not, you know, the only way of thinking. It is my way of thinking. She says you aren't guilty. She says of not giving markup a good go. She says you tried. She says, but it failed, not you. Oh, bless you, Kim. Thank you so much. I think I am just going to stick with Pattern Keeper. It got me through 4 years of a very, very big Heaven and Earth design. I've had lots of practice on Pattern Keeper, and it gave me a few moments at the beginning when I first started using it, but I don't think it ever gave me as much hassle as markup did. Don't think it was quite to the same level. Right, I'm trying to see where all my nice diamonds are now as I get to the end of this. They are all in my tray, so I've just checked. I am literally picking from what's in my tray. And I think when I'm done with this, this section, I'm now going for ones that are stuck together, because some of the ones that are stuck together look to be better quality. Once I've done this section, I am just going to bin these diamonds because these are not going in my spares at all. Delia, she says, hi Rebecca. Hello Rebecca. She says, just a thought. She says you should get some new batteries for the camera. She says then you won't be changing them so often. To be honest, I have 4 batteries for my camera. 2 of them are older, so they don't last as long once I start using them. But the other 2 of them are new. They are actually new ones, but due to the nature of the camera, and it's technically a camera for taking pictures, even though it is extremely good at taking video and letting me see what I'm videoing. It's originally made for taking pictures, so the battery can only have a certain capacity. And frankly, you can't get a battery that will last longer. But 2 of them are new, and they tend to be the ones I start with on my WIP and Waffles, and primarily use on my WIP and Waffles. And I only use my backups when I've been doing a lot of filming, because they actually take longer to charge than they do to use. So eventually I catch up with myself. She also says, she wants to have a go at working on a Heaven and Earth design. She said, so fingers crossed she can start one soon. She's not a fan of confetti, but she does enjoy working with square drills. She says, looking forward to the Christmas event, and she hopes I have a good day. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm looking forward to the Christmas event as well. So excited. Not long now. Dimitri says, hey Rebecca and Zesties. They love my WIP Chats so much, and they've said today they signed their new renting contract, and they can move end of November. Yay! They said thank you so much and shalom. Fantastic. You've got a busy week or two coming up, but an amazing week. I hope you have a great time in your new apartment. And yeah, create loads and loads of happy memories would be good. Helen, she says she loved this video. So this is on my Heaven and Earth design when I was preparing my drills and my canvas. She says, but please don't take this the wrong way, which I don't, Helen. I did read this comment because she pleases in capitals. She says she is diamond painting. She says, and she is absolutely no good with maths. She says she ended up zoning out. She says, but she still loved it. That's fine. Everybody's allowed to zone out every now and then, for sure. She also says that she's come back with another comment though. She says she has a question. She says she really wants to do a Heaven and Earth design with her spares. She says, but she primarily does rounds. She says, and the squares that she does have are cheap and nasty. She says, have anyone found a way of doing a round Heaven and Earth design, and how have they found it? She says she wants to use up the rounds she does have. Seeing as our beautiful hobby, she says, isn't the most sustainable. She wants minimum wastage by using up her spares. So yes, Melissa was doing mini beautiful light in rounds, and I'm sure there's somebody else that has completed a round painting as well. So it has been done. You can get a blank canvas made for round diamonds, so you can get one that is the right size for you to do in rounds. The only thing you need to be aware of, and it's not as distracting as you think, but you do need to be aware of it, is for every round diamond you place down, you are going to see white in the corners, because of course it is a square space even though you're putting a round diamond, so you will see that little bit of white in each corner. Because diamonds are so small, it's a small amount, you know, take an extra step back and it's not going to be as noticeable. So it can be done. You will see gaps. How much those gaps are in your face, a lot of that will be a personal preference, probably. But I know people have done them. So maybe have a little Google and you will find some. Right. I do still have a fair amount of comments, though I'm up to 3 days ago, and then it is just this last Thursday's WIP and Waffle. So I was kind of thinking I was very near the end, but I'm not. Anyway, I'm pretty much caught up, bar the last Thursday's WIP and Waffle video, bar a couple of comments. So I'll take that. We are definitely closer, but the painting is finished. It is now nearly 9:30 at night, and therefore I need to go and sit my bum down. But yes, Kooka is finished. It did get finished before November, which is amazing. Let me turn that off because I don't need that bright light. I don't think I've lost any diamonds. I have lost a couple as I've been working on it, but I don't think I've lost any at the moment. But I am going to lie this flat on my desk and give it a very good roll. So do join me for de-kitting this painting next week. I've already got rid of that queue. I just bin them because I'm not putting them in my spares. And the quicker I bin them, the quicker I can forget about them being all holy. But anyway, thank you for joining me for this later night for me WIP and Waffle. I hope you all have an amazing upcoming week, and don't forget, this time next week we start the Advent event. So
Very exciting. Speak to you all again soon.